And during the House inquiry, it was stressed that the comprehensive agreement on the Bangsamoro will remain in effect even if the passage of the proposed law that will govern the entity is delayed. Again, the details from Freddie Abando.
With the resumption of the joint probe of the Bangsamoro incident, there was no way to avoid discussions on the draft Bangsamoro Basic Law, which is due to be tackled late this month. Deputy Minority Leader Sylvester Bello asked the government's chief negotiator with the MILF, Coronel Ferrer, if the peace agreement with the MILF will hold if Congress fails to pass the draft Bangsamoro Basic Law. Ferrer stressed the accord will be honored by the MILF and will all depend on the next administration to deliver the government's commitments on the comprehensive agreement on the Bangsamoro signed in March of 2014.
Even if we do not pass a BBL, we don't necessarily go back to war because we already have a signed agreement, Madam Miriam. Meron tayong pinirman, meron ng comprehensive agreement on the and the non-passage or non-approval of the BBL will not necessarily cause the suspension or the breakdown of the peace negotiation. Hindi po ba?
Totoo po yun, Your Honor. In fact, if I will complete what I said yesterday in the press conference is that if the BBL is not passed under this Congress, then it doesn't mean that the comprehensive agreement on the Bangsamoro is no longer in effect. It has been the policy of the Aquino administration to adhere to all signed documents between government and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, and it will be the responsibility of the next administration to also adhere to these signed documents. But then again, of course, it will still be the decision of the next president whether in fact to recognize or not the documents that have been achieved in the long history of the peace negotiations between the government and the MILF. So yun po yung context ng ating sinabi. What I said with reference to possibilities is that even if the MILF stays the course of peace, as the MILF chair has been saying that they will not go back to war, they will continue to pursue the peace. My statement was that there is no guarantee or assurance that there will be no fallouts from its organization. And
the House Ad Hoc Committee, chaired by Congressman Rufus Rodriguez, is committed to the passage of the law by June. It is the consensus of the House to approve a measure that will not violate the Constitution.
Yes, by June it should be approved, by June 11. I have no doubt that we will be able to approve this, yes.
Why?
Because we are for peace. We have to give peace a chance. We have to give lasting peace to Mindanao. I think we will be able to refocus back the sentiments of our congressmen and senators on achieving lasting peace. Otherwise, what is the alternative? You go back to war again, 43 years already. You want it to last another lifetime, another 40 years? We don't want that to happen.
The main point still is the constitutionality or the unconstitutionality of BBL.
Is that going to be a difficult hurdle to overcome?
Well, I have many questions. I hope people will look not just at my questions, but will look at the answers. Waiting for the committee to come up with the right answers.
In the meantime, AFP Chief General Pio Katapang Baird, offensive operations against the BIFF has been stopped since last week. In the aftermath of the operations, development projects are underway to address the needs of displaced families in the affected areas of Maguindanao and North Cotabato. Maguindanao Congresswoman Bai Sandosema thanked the President for his efforts in addressing the plight of residents in the conflict areas. For the People's Television Network, this is Freddie Abando reporting.